Hey guys, Little Pressure Washing here, and Sadie, of course, she's here with me too. What we're going to do is we're going to replace this unloader on this pressure washer. As you can see right here, let me zoom in. There's a hairline fracture. These happen, come from the factory like this, you know, it's a freak accident. These do happen. So what happened is when, this is brand new, when I turned it on, it started spraying water. So we have a replacement right here. We're going to replace this one with this. So I figured I'll walk you guys through this and we'll do it together. Okay, so we're going to take this one off first. We're going to set this to the side here, put it right here on this white rag, and we're going to get the proper tools, which we have here, and we're going to take this off and do it together. Like I said, this is the first time for me, so you'll get to see it. I hope everything goes well. It should. And yeah, all right, we have our tool tight on here. We don't have the appropriate size, so I'm going to go, I think, tomorrow and buy a bigger set of tools to keep in here, to keep on the truck. And I'm even going to go farther as organize them to where I can label them to what they go to on the like the pressure washers, the hose reels, just whatever you need, the soft wash unit. I'm going to have it to where it's easy to go and grab. You don't have to look through a bunch of tools like that are here. It's kind of a mess when you got to go through there. Could be organized better. But with that being said, I'm having to use this, which will work. So we're going to slowly start taking off all of the hoses. And then that's what we're going to do first. Of course, it's starting to rain out here, so I'm going to try to go this fast. We actually took this off. It was easy because when I was unscrewing it, it was spinning over there. It's about to start pouring on me, so I may have to finish this video later. If not, I'm going to try to get this one. We're going to take off is this bottom one here. You can either take it off from here, or you can come along and take it off at your tank, which if I can get it without twisting it up too bad, I'm going to take it off from here, so I don't have to take it off from there and rotate the entire line. We took off was this one, which means the last one is here. Then we're going to take that off and we're going to attach this piece right here onto here. So it's going to sit like this. So we're going to take this last bolt off and then we're going to adjust it at the end. I'll show you how to adjust it, how I was told to appropriately adjust it to make this operate the same way. What we're going to do is we're going to put a set of pliers here and hold it while we twist this counterclockwise. We're going to take this out, leave that, and screw the new one in its place like this. We're going to take this off, put it on here, and screw that back on in there, just like that. Another issue you may come into is this below. See, this won't turn past there, so I'm going to have to, unfortunately, take this off as well. So it's kind of a lot to do to be able to get this off correctly, but we're going to get order so this don't happen. When you take this off underneath the main supply hose, you want to come around to follow your line to where it feeds. For instance, this one, we're going to close it. That's going to shut it off. Now, you technically should have done that beforehand, but I want to show you all the situations that could possibly happen and why you want to do it. So with that taken off, we're able to undo this filter. I'll be very careful with it. Set that back in there like that. I'm actually going to set this. I'll set it right here on top. And then we're going to continue working this off so that we can get all this off. So we actually are going to do everything reverse. When we put it back on, we'll put this on first, all correctly, and then this, and then adjust it once it's on there. And I'll take you through that. What I've done is I've loosened this. Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. Hey, she's such a pretty girl. I've taken this off so that I can adjust this. And what I've done is I'm slowly unscrewing, as you can see right here. I'm screwing this out of the pump. This is the filter. A lot of people don't put these. I like to put them just to keep any extra dirt from going in my pump. So we're going to unscrew this like this. And of course, we're going to have to thread that as we put it back in there with the Teflon tape. And people also use Loctite. I think that's what they use, what's called. Here we go. We'll clean that out nice and neatly before we put that back in there. But now we're able to take this off. See? I have this on here so this don't move. Actually, that's, you know, I had that on there to get the first couple cranks. It's good now. I could probably take it off. But we're going to leave it on there when we tighten it back up. So we're going to take this completely off. the unloader here. There we go. The hardest part of this has been getting this piece off right here, which I finally got it broke loose. But this was the hardest part. And you may not have this on your unloader, this elbow like this, but this was definitely by far the hardest thing to get undone yet so far. Now we're able to put this back on the new unloader. Can't recommend enough having one of these little cheap, like lays, what you would call it, on your trailer. They come in handy, man, like a second set of hands. I have a bigger one on my other trailer. This is a little small one, but you know what? It does the job. Does the job. After you removed any excess tape right here, like this Teflon tape right here, I always take a little screwdriver and I go and I make sure I got every bit off and make sure nothing got in this pump. Clean that out really, really good. And then rethread it. And then we're gonna put this back in here like this. We're gonna screw it on slowly and then give it. Now that we've got that Tefloned on, I try to get it basically straight up and down, but it doesn't really matter. As you can see, this one's kind of cocked out to the right, but just as tight. I just wanted to, I don't know, it's the OCD in me. I wanted it to kind of go up and down, but cock it out a little bit away from the pump. So like I said, it doesn't matter. But with this one, I went ahead and did it, cocked it almost up and down a little bit out from the pump. So I'm gonna put that on there. Next thing we did was clean this off really good and rethread that. And we also rethreaded this. And we're about to rethread this. And we have this one ready to go. Now that we have this threaded, we're gonna slowly put this on here and screw it on. We have it started. We want to make sure you're on your threads, you don't cross threading it. Make sure it's not stripping. Make sure it's on there correctly. It's important when you get it started to make sure you're on your right grooves. We're eventually going to work this around till we can't go any tighter with it. Then we're going to apply the pressure with a little bit of wrenches. We're not going to go crazy with it. We're going to make sure it's on there. This is a 3,500 PSI. That's a TSF 2021 pump, 8 gallon a minute. Over here's my 10 gallon a minute, TS 2221. So the difference on the general pump is TSF 2021, 8 gallon, TSF 2221, 10 gallon. Remember that. Now that we have this on there really tight, we really didn't have to use any wrenches. I thought we was going to have to, but we didn't. I'm going to double check, make sure everything's tight. What we use on these bolts is a 1/2 wrench. See how this goes on here? This is how you also adjust the unloader, but that's a whole different video. But it's a 1/2 on both of these, and you got 2 bolts right there. This is how you adjust it, but there's more to it. You need a pressure gauge and, you know, wand and everything else. This is, but just so you know, this is the proper tool to use, the 1/2. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare. This one was set perfectly. Like I said, this was a brand new machine. It just had a hairline fracture. Where was it at? Hairline fracture right there. Right there. See the hairline fracture right there? See it right there? Whole thing was, it was cracked through there. Right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this, we're gonna measure this from here to here, and we're gonna tighten this down to the exact same length of what this is. That's how we're gonna do it. And that's a rule of thumb. You measure it, the top to bottom, to the nuts, to the bolt right here, and tighten it down. This one obviously needs to go a little bit more. We're gonna do that and get it exactly where it needs to be, and then finish installing it. Do that by taking a 1/2 wrench and tightening it down. Tighten it down, tighten it down. And then we're gonna compare it. And then when you get it where you want it, you obviously drop this nut down on there like that. But let's see how this one stacks up to it. So we're gonna measure and see what the inches are, or they're actually, we're gonna stick a pressure gauge on the end and see what our pressure spike is. It should spike and be steady at a certain level. So we're gonna put this at the gun and see where we're at. As you can see, it's coming to like 1 1/8 right there. That's where we want to be at, a little past 1 1/8, as you can see right there. As you can see, we're about the same right there, right at 1 1/8. Man, that's spot on, man. I don't think I could do that again if I wanted to. But that's how you're going to measure it, and you can tweak it once you get it on there. I'll show you. All right, guys, I'm almost done. I had to cut all my zip ties around in here, and I had to loosen up here so the whole hose would turn as I was unscrewing it. I've gotten this tightened up. The last thing I have to do is, well, the last couple things is put this on here and put this back on the bottom there. So, and while I was doing that, I went ahead and tightened up all the loose hoses, make sure it was nice and zip tied. Everything's nice and buttoned up. Even the extra slack on my battery boxes, I did that because I wanted it to look really nice and neat. This was this is unnecessary, so instead of having it flop around, I put it up right here, nice and buttoned up. As I did that and that, and I made sure this was all nice and flowing down, just like this. It's all about just the small things. So now I got to hook this up and hook that up. I got to put some locking tape on there, some Teflon tape. What's going on, guys? It's the next day, apparently. It's 4 o'clock the next day. I'm about to start. I have a long list of things to do today. I had to run and get my wife Denali's tags taken care of this morning and get that switched over. And so now it's daytime. I added a tool of what you must need to change out these unloaders, okay? I found the proper tool. A friend of mine had it, he just gave it to me. Happened to just be sitting around and happened to be the exact one I needed, so I'm gonna share it with you right here. Of course, it's an Allen Hex tool, but let me show you. This is what it is right here. This is the proper one you need, and then it's an 8mm. Now with this 8mm, I'm gonna show you what I did with it right here. With this 8mm, I was able to adjust these, the one on the top, the one on the bottom. This also fits, actually it doesn't fit in there, but it does fit here. So what I suggest doing is keeping an 8mm. I'm gonna find out what size that is, so you can always have the exact set of tools. I'm gonna put together, I'm gonna check over here just to make sure. Nope, you know what? Interesting fact, doesn't fit the 10-gallon, but it does. Nope, wait, yeah, it does fit this one. It does fit the TS 2221 pump and 2021 pump, but it doesn't fit the unloader, so you need a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna actually get a parts with what you need, but for the 8 gallon a minute, this is what you need for one of these, guys. For no matter what machine you run, if you're running this is the appropriate one to have in your toolbox. So now we're gonna test it and make sure everything's right. We measure our distance, and if that's actually what we'll do is I'll have another person here with me later on. I know that's just about right, but I'm gonna dial it in perfectly. What I'll do is I'll have somebody on the trigger while I'm adjusting this up or down, and we'll take it from there. For the time being, I'm gonna test this just to make sure there's no leaks. Everything's good to go. We got everything Teflon threaded. So with it turned all the way down, with this open right here, we're gonna slowly pull the choke out. We're gonna fire this up. First time, let's go. There we go. Had to move real quick. We got good flow, no leaking. Now, let me see if I can position my camera. Let me set it down. All right. We're gonna slowly pull up on it. Ready? Throttle. We're good to go. It's working. Always shut it off with it open, and trigger, basically hand on trigger or open ball valve, turn it down to rabbit. Slow, I always warm it up, just like in your car. You don't jump in it and fire it up and go. Slow start it and slow turn it off. That'll make it last a long time. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. All right, guys, so we got that taken care of. Of course, those were issues that were factory defaults. The unloader came from the factory. We tested it. It worked good, and then when I got it home, I guess it had a small crack that got worse. It's no problem. They overnighted me one, just like the hose reels had a small thing. General Pump overnighted me that as well. Boom, boom. Quick business, good business. And now the only other thing I have to do on this trailer besides add a blend manifold, which I'm hollering at my boy Heath about, is I have to get another hose. So I use 10-foot hose to go to my reel. Because let me show you right here. See right here? This is off my diesel trailer. This is on my other P40, but since it's in the shop, I'm using it now to go to the hose reel. Because I've been blowing a ton of these things, right? So you got to get at least 300 PSI. I recommend getting higher, like hydraulic hoses, stuff like that. Those work great. From what I hear, do your own diligence, but I'm going to go for like 500 or 600 PSI, so it'll last a long time. So rule of thumb, you want to have at least 25 feet of, I think it's 1/2 inch. You can circle it up and put it underneath your skid. That's what I'm going to do. It acts as a radiator, so when you're off the trigger, it bypasses. And at least 10 foot to your hose reel. That's what I want. That's what I run. And at least 10 foot from your water tank to the thing. I just like 10, 10, and 25. But most important is the bypass hose. You want that 25 feet so it has time to circle through, and you don't want to stay off the gun long. That acts like a radiator. It doesn't blow. So the main issue I was having, I was using these 150 PSI Home Depot braided hoses. They don't work. You got to have something better. And I've blown through 2 of them, and yeah, it just cost me basically $50 down the drain. So just let me help you guys out, save you time, get the right hoses. And then when I get the new hoses in from Amazon, I'll post them on Instagram so you know what to do. All right, guys, I'm going to drop this video. I got a lot of work to do. Stay humble, guys. Stay blessed. God first. People over profits. Let's go.